And we are at 9:13 on the South Shore's Morning News, here in the studio with the Grammy Award-winning producer and musician extraordinaire, Paul Santo. Early in the morning for you, isn't it?
I was up at the crack of dawn, hoeing the fields.
Yes, a musician outstanding in his field, indeed. Paul, welcome. It's good to see you. You had a little stint here at WATD. I see you smiling, looking around the place.
I did. Haven't been here in a while. We used to do a radio show called American Pop Radio.
Well,
Steve White.
Back in the day here. I'm trying to get your microphone on here, and I don't know why I'm having such difficulty with it. Do we have you here? I don't know. Oh, hey, you know what? That's what it is. I gotcha. It's one of those things here. Can't quite get used to the board at WATD, even after all these years.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Lisa's
great.
on.
Because I want to sing to everybody, not just myself and to Paul now.
Well, see,
Kidding.
we wanted to share your dulcet tones. Paul, you're a local musician. We've known each other for a long time, and a lot of times when people are local and they never really get out of the local market. You've won a Grammy, a Latin Grammy for producing for.
Oh, Alejandra Guzman.
Okay, so
Desmond Child.
Great stuff. And you also have done some work with the Bad Boys from Boston, Aerosmith. How did you, a local South Shore kid, hook up with Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, and the boys from Aerosmith?
I drove by his house so many times that he finally got annoyed. No, we became acquainted, and he started inviting me to shows and started calling my house and leaving funny messages, and then I eventually went to his house, and from that day on, really never left, and that was almost 20 years ago.
There you go. A burning question. Everybody from the Aerosmith band seems to have very successful solo careers and endeavors. Is the band going to keep going, or are they done resting on their laurels? What's up with those guys?
Well, the recording business is sort of dead, as you know, but the live business is still blooming. So they'll be out probably for 2 to 3 years, God willing. Playing South America, Europe, Japan, and then a U.S. tour. So they have a bunch of things penciled in.
And still on top of their live game after all these years.
Oh, yeah, they still crush it on stage. But everyone plays in different bands. Everyone does different things when Aerosmith's not together. So Steven's been out doing his solo.
He had his country thing going.
Yeah, he's still out doing shows, and Joe is the hardest working man in show business. He's always working.
And you've been out on tour with him as well?
I toured with Joe twice, and I've played with all the guys in different iterations.
Tell us a road story. Yeah.
That's what Lisa's been chomping at the bit for.
A road story, like when you think about being out on tour and on the road, something that stands out as being a really memorable, let's say PG-rated story. Just because I know, sometimes it's like,
being in a Gulfstream G4 and doing a barrel roll at 30,000 feet.
What?
Wow.
That could qualify.
What happened?
I don't know. I'd have to really think about that.
So these guys, they're gonna be out and they're doing all kinds of things. What are you doing musically? And you've worked with some of the upper echelon, top notch musicians in the world at this date. So what's on tap for you in the next few months?
I am honing a consulting business, really, to help educate younger minds about the perils of the music business.
Well, that's something that I really wanted to talk about, because when I started out, at least from my perspective, the music industry today is a lot different than what it was when I started. And in your estimation, is it harder or easier for younger artists today to get recognized?
It's both. It's harder because of the noise level in our culture and the devaluation of culture. So music isn't worth much anymore, and it's sort of a lifestyle accessory as opposed to sitting and communing together. On the other hand, the world is your oyster. You can reach the entire planet from your home.
Isn't
that amazing? You can record a record at home. And there's a good local music scene around here I'm discovering since I moved back from Maine, and there's people like Jason Dick, who is a reggae guy, and Catlin Evans and Jay Saros, and different artists who are building their own little businesses very well.
And Lisa, you've seen how this has been working on the local level. You and John Shea were instrumental in putting Almost Famous on the air here. And
you're the Almost Famous girl.
Yeah, I retired, but but I have an in with the guy, with John. Yeah,
but, and we tried to do it with the Eclectic Picnic as well. But what are you seeing from the artists? What are some of their frustrations that they talk to you about?
I think that because I think, Paul, what you said definitely resonates. Where it's a great time and it's a hard time to be in music. I feel like there's, when I think about ATD, my first exposure to ATD was a kid singing in the chorus in high school, and they said, you're being recorded and you get to hear your concert on WATD played at Christmas time. And that was my first, exposure to the radio station. I thought, this is the coolest thing. I get to sit Christmas morning, chin on my hands in front of the stereo, listening to the Christmas concerts. And then as I, fast forward many years later, work here at WATD, and I realize how much emphasis is put on the community and in the kids in the sports programs and the music programs. I think it's so great that we can be, as the owner, Ed Perry, always says, a megaphone for the community. So starting a program like Almost Famous several years back now was a great way to extend the beliefs of ATD to musicians that have started just maybe when I started singing in chorus, they were starting their bands as young high school kids or even younger. And then also helping even more seasoned and experienced musicians have yet another outlet to play. It's amazing. So I love that this home here at ATD is helping people play their newer music or have their first chance in front of a microphone. But it is tough out there because of social media. You have a lot of people that love to put things out into the universe, and you have to sift through a lot.
Well, I think that if a musician writes a great song as opposed to a mediocre song, and you'll get attention. And that's part of the problem with the culture, is that what's become accepted as quality or interesting is very fleeting. You can hear a song, it's amusing or it helps you dance, and then you forget about it. But if you write a great song, i.e., the reason we still listen to the Beatles, for example, this far after the game. And stations like WATD, of which there are very few, WATD
Truly.
is a fantastic station. If there was even more opportunity to showcase local artists, I think it would help the scene even more.
Well, and you mentioned Jay Pizarro's, Jay's amazing because he's a very good musician, but he has something that not every other musician has, which is a great business mind.
Yes,
and
a man bun.
Yeah, and a man bun. That's true.
Jay's fantastic.
But so he really understands the benefit of building, the way you build relationships and the way that you help each other out. So he's a great model for anybody kind of coming up the ranks that has a chance to learn from someone. I always think of Jay as being such a great ambassador for the local music community.
And we need more of that. As the dodo bird became extinct, you have to adapt to survive in the music business. So part of my consulting is to help people write better songs and have more appropriate productions, not to teach them how to be engineers at home or how to do their social media marketing. But it's going back to a roots level where hopefully quality will come back in to the music scene in a popular way.
You're listening to Brian Edwards on 95.9 WATD.
$9:25 on the South Shore's Morning News. Brian Edwards in for Rob Hackle, Lisa Azizian alongside, and Grammy Award-winning producer Paul Santo is with us. And Paul, one thing that has it served you well being a multi-instrumentalist?
Absolutely, because you can fill in any position that you're called to do if you're an engineer and a multi-instrumentalist, and that's how I got dragged into playing on people's records, because I just happened to play.
And play anything. And
well, I played reasonably well. So, and Steven, for example, Steven Tyler was the one who got me to play on a record first by literally just dragging me in. Hey, this guy plays, bring him over. and that's how it started. So.
Well, now we were touching on local artists, and it's nowadays it's key to have a good song as opposed to have an album's worth of good songs, where the old format used to be release a CD, try to see if you can get it picked up. Nowadays, you have a song. You're going into the consulting. As a consultant, really. How would you help a client get to that point?
It's more like a career coach. I have a blog on my website that talks about the investment of money, which is probably better put into other things than recording a CD unless you have some burning artistic need to do so. And as culture has become devalued and has become more disposable, a great song is what's going to last. So if you look at historically what's happened with music, great songs last. So an artist is really needs to craft their songs in a way that will make an impression, and that will help them rise above the noise.
One thing that I've noticed a lot is that you're seeing young kids, high schoolers, that their parents are going out buying them state-of-the-art amps and instruments and throwing together a band. And back in the day, the garage bands were you worked hard, you scraped up your money, you got some secondhand instruments and
made a racket.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And then you went on, and those garage bands very rarely achieved any kind of fruition or notoriety. Nowadays, people seem to think that, we'll get state-of-the-art equipment, and these guys will be stars, and we'll get them on The Voice or whatever. That's not the way it works, is it?
Not for the most part, no. I mean, it's possible most of the children of people that I know, are digital natives, so they understand technology easily. We didn't have that particular technology.
That's correct, too.
And B, they have come full circle around to good songwriting and bands with character and presence. Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith.
There you go. Now,
for rock and roll.
As a matter of fact, I remember one time watching an opening day at Gillette Stadium, and lo and behold, my sweetie and I were shocked. Who's that guy playing keyboards with Ozzy?
I don't know.
No, we thought it was you.
Oh, it might have been me, and I don't remember.
But you've worked with him. You've worked with Ringo. You've worked with Clapton. You've worked with David Gilmour. When you're in close proximity with all these really serious recording artists who have had major success, what's it like? Is it like dealing with us here face to face, or is there a different aura in the room?
Well, there's always a different aura because of the history they bring in with them, but they're guys and they're musicians. So once the formalities are done, and as long as you observe certain protocol, it becomes relaxed and you work. I mean, we worked with Ringo for a long time, and we called him Rich, and we went to lunch with him and stuff, and he's, as normal as you can be being a Beatle.
Right.
But he's serious about his work. I mean, all these guys are serious about their work, but they were all fun to be around.
And how do you bring, as the producer or engineer-producer, how do you bring a guy like Gilmour's level of creativity to another height?
It's funny with a guy like David Gilmour, you just want to record it properly and not mess it up. And because he's so experienced at what he does, and he's so quick off the mark to be able to hone in on something melodic, that he takes care of all of that.
That's it's great stuff. I mean, the sounds that he records, and that all of them record, it shows that diversity and creativity in the recording session is something that goes a long way to a great record.
Well, that was the cool part, is that he brought in a certain set of gear and guitars, and he plugged it in, and it made a big racket when he wasn't using it, but as soon as he played it, it sounded exactly like David Gilmour.
Wow, that's something. We'll talk about the recording industry here in just a second, but I have to do a traffic update. 9:33 on the South Shore's Morning News. Brian Edwards in for Rob Hackala on this St. Patrick's Day. Lisa Azizi, and alongside in the studio we have Paul Santo, who is a Grammy Award-winning producer, and he's a musician extraordinaire. We've seen him with a lot of local bands. He has some bands that he's worked with on the local level as well. And we're talking about all things music. We're talking about the industry. We're talking about Aerosmith, who Paul has had some experience with. And we're also talking about local artists. And Lisa Azizian has been so much a part of the local music scene here. And Lisa, what would you recommend as someone who comes at it from not per se a performer, but what would you recommend to local venues that can help facilitate keeping live music in the rooms here on the South Shore?
For the local venues, well, it's about having a space that supports the musicians. That's for sure. It's not every venue is a perfect spot for a musician, but it's also being flexible. Some spaces are great for your acoustic solo artist or duo. Some other spaces are more conducive to having more musicians together or a bigger, fuller sound. But it's about being flexible and networking, and putting your faith in the musicians to deliver what they promise. So it's not kind of vetting out the person or the group, vetting them out and providing the space to let them craft their magic, being supportive.
Paying well.
Paying well.
What a good song, darn it.
There you go. And Paul, we can't stress that enough, but on a local level here, right, there are a number of different recording studios, recording engineers and producers. I've had the fortunate experience of working with Joe Clapp, who happens to be one of the more well-known producers down here. And you as well, you've known Joe many, many years.
Yeah, he's fantastic. A lot of studios have disappeared as people record at home, but there's still these rooms where you can get great sounds or bring your home recordings to and have them finish them for you, and Joe's a great guy for that. I mean, he's part of the local scene.
Okay, well, we were going to cue something up over here on this CD player, but I've been having a little difficulty with the CD player. You went in and worked with Joe on a song of yours.
We did it for fun. I wrote a song, and Joe and I recorded it, and then we called in the lovely and talented Mark Purcell to sing it. And his voice was perfect for the song.
Well, Mark, also another solid veteran here on the South Shore.
Are you having trouble with the CD that I gave you? I mean, I can't believe I actually had a CD to burn to give you. But
it's that archaic technology, isn't it? Yes. So tell us about the song here, Paul.
It was very spontaneously composed, and then I went home and tried to craft it. I went through the words carefully and aspects of the song, and Joe and I just had fun. We did it for fun and possible licensing, I suppose. But it really is a showcase for Mark Purcell, so Purcellvis can have a higher profile and go out and people could pay more attention to him and what he does. Mark
Purcell, Paul Santo, Joe Clapp, Strange Child. The song is called Feel the Rain, right here on the South Shore's Morning News.
Walk away from a strange breed who needs the time of day. What did I say? Down to Latin Square. God, please guide me anywhere, 20 miles south of nowhere. But don't start thinking that you do it for me, and don't you even start. Your ass might follow when your mind gets free. How you've always been to smile. Now we're in a pickle on a ready sea. To art, that's the way it should be. Feel the rain, feel the rain falling down on my brain. Feel the rain, feel the rain falling down on my brain. I feel the rain. ass might follow if your mind gets free. Are you always been to smile? The hour in a big alone and ready to see and raise it into art. That's the way it should be. Feel the rain, feel the rain falling down on my brain. Feel the rain, I feel the rain falling down on my brain. I feel the rain, I feel the rain falling down on my brain. I feel the rain, feel the rain falling down on my brain.
(9:39) on the South Shore's Morning News. Strange Child, Feel the Rain, a song written by Paul Santo, who's in the studio with us here this morning. And who knew you played the banjo?
That was the high fidelity YouTube version, right?
Yes.
With the dance mix intro. Sorry.
Again, it's buttons. Who's got
I
the
know,
button here?
CDs. The other song on that CD that I brought in was a new song by Steve Smith, formerly of Dirty Vegas, but it's a fantastic song that Steve wrote.
And unfortunately, it's not queuing up for us. Paul, what's on your dance card as we look toward the summer here? For did you bring your taps?
I always wanted to be Sammy Davis Jr. He just had it all, man.
Yeah, he sure did. But what's up for you as summertime comes upon us?
The first priority is getting Harley out and going for a ride. So that's
you and Peter Black from our blues guy from the overnights. He loves his Harley too.
I am doing some archival stuff for Steven Tyler, so I'm going to be putting together some stuff for him and probably bring it to Los Angeles. And I'm just working on the consulting aspect of the business. Meanwhile, I'm still doing other things, some sessions here and there. I still do guitar and keyboard sessions for people, and go out and play wherever I can go out and play just for fun.
Right.
There's no money in it, so you have to go out and just play for fun. And there's been rumors of Joe Perry coming back. He's on the West Coast now, but him coming back, and there's a core band that gets together over there. I play drums, Joe plays guitar, Dr. Rudy Tanzi from Harvard plays Hammond, and the extraordinary David Hull on bass.
It's just amazing.
Crazy fusion Hendrixy stuff we play.
David's an amazing musician.
He sure is.
And well, that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
One of the funniest humans on earth.
And who knows? Maybe we'll see you guys show up around here somewhere. You never know.
Anything's possible.
And Paul, if people want to get a hold of you to discuss the music industry, to discuss your consulting business, or just to find out what's going on in Paul world, how do they do so?
Well, I'll be at the end of the highway over there at the ramp with a little cup. No,
I thought that was you coming in this morning.
With flowered pants. Yeah, that's the guy with flowered pants. Paulsanto.com is my website, and Paul Santo Music on Facebook. So I'm active on social media.
And it's also really nice to see on your social media that you put up stories of some of the people that you've worked with, some of the more amusing sessions that you've been part of. It's great reading vicariously.
Yeah, I've always liked writing, and I think I'm reasonably good at it, and I'm approaching it from an angle of a fan rather than self-congratulatory, so I write it. I am a fan. So when you're in a room with somebody and that you would listen to for years and years, and suddenly you're recording them or writing or something with them, and then you have to put that away for a while, and then you leave and go, geez, that was just, Eric Clapton was just, So anyway.
It must be something to be a fly on the wall. That's why you have the camera. That's why you post it.
I'll tell you some stories when we're off the air, Brian.
There you go. Ain't that always the case? The best stuff is off the air. Paul Santo, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks,
we
Brian.
really appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure seeing you. And Lisa.
We'll hopefully get a chance to do this again somewhere down the line on the South Shores Morning News. It's 9:45. We're just ahead of traffic and weather together. As we were able to find a CD player that worked. And Paul Santo, what have we here? What are you going to play for us?
This is a really good song with a really good singer. It's Steve Smith, formerly of Dirty Vegas, and Lover, Let Me In.
Right here on WATD. Samantha up next. Lisa and I will see you on Monday.
Standing on the edge of time, forgive me if I feel inclined. Lying in the afterglow, holding back, I can't let go. Cold sweats when you're near to me, waiting here so patiently by design. Just want to be your friend. I just want to be your lover. So lover, let me in. Lover, let me in. Lover, let me in. Walk into this empty room. There's no one here but me and you. Leave our regrets by the door. No inhibitions, that's for sure. Cold chills when we're cheek to cheek. Our eyes are closed, our bodies speak. In the night, just want to be your friend. I just want to be your lover. So lover, let me in. Lover, let me in. I just want to be your lover, and I just want to be